And welcome to the We Like Sports podcast, live with myself, professional Parker Pierce, live with this guy with the most ugly hoodie I've ever seen. It is absolutely disgusting. I mean, it looks like if you got a Steelers hoodie from that store, Roses. Like, that looks so, like, off-brand and, like, not even
what's
a
bad
real
is,
thing.
like, if I end up, like, stretching out enough like this, the sleeves just fall off. I have tape on these.
Did you find that at a flea market?
No, my dad got it for me for Christmas. Thanks, dickhead.
Did he get it from the
See,
flea
and
market?
I have a friend, too.
Yeah. And
Oh, no.
there's Steeler fans around, so you don't want us to see your catch on to your guys' secret Browns handshake.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. How is this happening right now? I'm live at First Stop, and I'm stuck between an ugly place and a hard ugly
I'll tell you
place.
how it happens. Like, we bleed black and gold, we shit brown. That just happened. So instead of doing our elf on a shelf, we're doing our favorite little Eric on a shelf. Counting. These are good.
Okay, well, the people at home can't see these.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah,
we're rolling?
We're live.
Are they appropriate?
They're appropriate.
That's probably the best thing that has happened on this podcast.
No, this
so
is
far.
terrible. This is terrible. I can't start out this way.
No, you can, because we are.
Show the world.
So just to be in the Christmas spirit things up here at First Stop, instead of our elf on a shelf, we're doing our favorite little Eric coffin on a shelf.
Why is that, like, that name sounds familiar. And I don't know why. Does he have a closet party, too, like Nick?
No, he does not. No, he's just on the shelf. So, Jew.
Is he Eric?
No, this is G.I. Jew. He's, a diehard Steelers fan.
Nothing wrong with that.
And he's just like most Clevelanders that are Steelers fans. They're also Indians and Cavs fans as well.
yeah, relatable.
But but he's a Steeler fan.
Actually, I'm not even a Steeler fan, but I'm not sure about you. I looked everywhere for a Browns Super Bowl ugly sweater. I couldn't find one anywhere.
Oh man!
So-
you could definitely tell that he's not a fan.
So since you two are both fans of the Steelers, and
Yes.
I'm kind of just stuck here right now,
Yeah, you're stuck in the middle.
please give me a reason why you think that with the Steelers getting into the most difficult part of their schedule, playing 4 out of the next 5 teams with above 500 records, do you
Well,
really
have him pull up his
actually
seat
believe?
since he's standing.
Do you
Yeah,
really
his feet
actually
are hurting for
believe
me.
that the Pittsburgh Steelers can actually go undefeated?
Honestly, I don't know what your approach is on this, but if the Steelers go undefeated, cool. Otherwise, I don't care. I'd rather have a Super Bowl again instead of being 19-0.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter because the undefeated record doesn't really matter to me because all that is
if
just
you go
record and
19-0,
score
you win the
thing.
Super Bowl.
Now,
But that's also, you have your late 16, 17 weeks, and I mean, you also have COVID going on all the time. Look what happened with the Ravens game Wednesday. You have James Conner that's out still. Their backup running back's out. You got Blake Snell Jr. as their running back. It's going to
Bush is
happen
out
if
for
they...
the year. Dupree's out for the
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
But
Tore his
that's
ACL.
how we take our approach in Pittsburgh is next man up. We're not worried about where the Browns, they could go 2-14, but as long as they beat the Steelers, they're happy. That's a successful season. And you know what? In the last 5 years, 2 wins in Cleveland would be a successful season. I get it. But I'm not looking for an undefeated record. But if I were the 72 Dolphins, I would definitely be shaking our boots right now.
And
I
also-
don't think they should be shaking in their boots because the Steelers team, yeah, they are depleted, and they also have
No, they're undefeated.
no, but they're oh my god, they just don't seem like that dominant, undefeated team, kind of like Brady with Randy Moss back in 2007. They don't have that like fire, that real like explosiveness on offense. I don't really see that. It's unfortunate that having Bud Dupree being hurt for the rest of the year. That was a huge loss for them.
I mean, you had Devin
And-
Bush also get knocked out for the
Yeah.
rest of the year, too. So, I mean,
So it's
there's talks about even people
just-
saying James Harrison might be coming back just because they need a linebacker.
I just see
And that's
I
what
just
makes
see
him
the
dangerous.
schedule.
When you can throw a 42-year-old man into the mix and he's going to step in and start. I mean, you haven't seen the Steelers' best football yet, and that's what makes them so scary. Now, are there going to be obstacles along the way? Sure. I'm not even overlooking Washington tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon.
I actually picked Washington.
Well, you do. We still have Indy on the schedule. Indy's solid.
You got
Buffalo,
Cleveland again. You
no
got
slouches. The Browns, you know, they're still, you can't deny what they've done on the field. They're 8-3, but any time they've played anybody, and I do look at Tennessee whipping them by 20 points today. Anytime they've played a decent team, which are Pittsburgh or Baltimore, they were smoked by 30 points. That's just a decent team. You're saying that Pittsburgh's not that good. Well, yeah, that team that's not that good smoked you by 31.
And that was also on a day when, you know, the Browns did not have their best, the guy who fuels their entire offense in Nick Chubb. He was not on the field for that game. That was actually Kareem Hunt's first start in over 3 years. Yeah,
since Kansas City days.
It just,
but the thing is, though, is that even with the Browns being a better football team, they ended up having the next man up mentality, and a lot of people in Cleveland had high hopes that this game could be competitive. Being from Cleveland, I wanted to see a competitive game because you didn't see that too often, especially throughout this year when Browns have big expectations. Just hang in there. Mm-hmm. Week 17, there can't be any excuses. If Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Baker Mayfield are all healthy, there's no excuses. If they lose by 30 again, you're going in the right direction, but there's no excuses. There is an excuse for the early matchup. I get it. But there isn't if everybody's healthy.
See, I completely disagree with you there. I think the best thing that could have happened to the Browns is have to actually go out there and play a game without Chubb and see if Kareem still has some left in the tank. Yeah. I think he's the better back myself. As far as Mayfield, once again, best thing that could have happened to the Browns that game was him getting injured. His first throw of the game was a pick. It's
pick six.
The only weak point on the Browns offense right now is Mayfield. You got that cancer OBJ out of there, which I think was dragging him back. There's only one football. You can only spread it around so much.
Right.
And this guy is he's more about me, and the stats instead of playing it in a team mentality. And you can get away with that when you're in New York because the Giants have been bad for so long. Well, the Browns have been bad for that long too. So he thought he could just step in and just be the ball hog, which forced Mayfield, who's not that good of a pocket quarterback, he's got to step up. He was trying to force the ball to him.
He was force feeding him, absolutely. The thing is, too, is that, like, a lot of my friends that are from Cleveland, I know you even, like, you were around for that on Wednesday when we were talking about it, but with 2020 being the way it is, the weirdest year ever, if the Browns somehow ended up winning the Super Bowl this year, it would make sense because it was just something that nobody would expect. It'd be, all right, you have Odell Beckham Jr., that's his Pro Bowl wide receiver. You win it without him, so obviously if they win without Odell, why keep him around? You don't need him. It's just this year would be that unlikely year that anything can and will happen.
Oh, I've been saying it all year long. You know, we really don't need Odell Beckham. I mean, yeah, he makes explosive plays here and again, every now and again and stuff. But I mean, Baker Mayfield's performance on, you know, just making his reads. He became a one-read quarterback. Look for Odell. If not, where's Jarvis? Up, both covered, sacked.
Yeah,
stay in the pocket, not getting rid of the ball. I mean, that was his biggest problem. Now he's actually seeing the entire field, you know, all at the same time, not focusing on any one person. And the only thing he's doing now that's wrong is making errant throws. He's making the right reads. He's being a good play caller. He's actually, you know, audibling at the line nicely. The running game has really improved. And that all happens because, you know, Baker just, it's a weight off his shoulder not having a guy like Odell on the field with him.
I don't think the Browns have any excuses left in the tank. On paper, they definitely have the best running back combo in the game, without a doubt. So I don't know how much room for improvement there is there. Their receivers are solid. Their tight ends are solid. They've made some sick catches. If they missed the playoffs at 10-6 or 11-5 this year, it's like, then what? Back to the drawing board. You know that Baker is not the guy. The Browns have been stuck in this constant loop every 3 years. Fire the quarterback, fire the coach, new GM. It's now or never for them. And they're definitely going in the right direction. But what happens after this year if they don't make, you know, at least get one playoff win under their belt? You know, they haven't had a playoff win since
94.
I think 94 is when they lost
94.
that was their last appearance.
Yep.
And they blew that game with touchdown Tommy Maddox coming back, and they lost that game. So when was their actual last playoff win?
Gosh. Probably 93, the year before.
I mean,
Wow.
their last playoff
when they
Loss
snatched
was
defeat from the
probably
jaws
back
of victory.
when they ended up going to Baltimore and they were the Ravens and the Ravens lost. That's probably
That was
accurate.
the last one I think Belichick played with us.
Yeah.
He was our coach.
Yep.
And that's when the NFL started to kind of consider going to plastic containers because of what Cleveland did to all the refs that day.
Wasn't it?
No, that was in 2000. That was in 2001.
No, we did that again too in them.
Yeah.
It was a consideration of that time era of like, hey, we need to switch this because
Yeah.
if you watch the videos, we were even throwing stuff at the refs because the refs beat us that game.
Also, while you're on that subject of refs and whatnot, have you seen that whole entire high school in
I did.
Texas and the dude that
Big high school kid that just
and has an
knocked
assault
over.
charge on
Yeah.
$10,000 fine right now.
How
Yeah,
stupid are you?
You can't do that type of stuff.
No,
I mean, it doesn't
like you're
matter.
in high
It's-
school. There's no excuses either way. Like that's literally. Is it bad that right away I kind of thought that school was in Hawaii because he looked like a big Samoan kid? Like no,
Yeah, that is
like,
bad.
Like
I mean, but
those are
in
your
youth
football
sports,
players,
youth
like, they're
sports,
big
high school
boys.
sports, there's a lot of emotion. Everybody feels like, oh, this is my time. I'm in high school. This is my only chance to play. I'm not going to play anymore after this. And then emotions get high. And, I've been kicked out of a game before. I mean, my dad's been kicked out of games for yelling at refs and stuff. But when it comes
I've
to
heard the
but
stories.
you can't assault a referee. He's just a guy there volunteering to help you out. Those guys don't need to take time out of their day to go make $30 to referee a high school football game.
I mean, look at college. I mean, that last Ohio State game before not Michigan State, and not the game that got canceled, but the week before that, or else maybe it was last week, and Ohio State wasn't even playing, but a referee or an official ended up getting hurt, and that's all just a part-time job. He's not getting paid thousands and millions of dollars to be a college referee. That's not the case. He's doing this voluntarily and might end up, I think they said there was talks about him possibly tearing his ACL. All while getting, $50, $100 to officiate this college football game? It sucks. And then,
Oh no, college football they get paid a lot more.
but still, that's
Yeah,
not
that's-
his main job right there.
Exactly.
And like going back to the high school scenario, is you have a referee that is not even damn near defenseless. He's defenseless. He doesn't have pads on, and this
Yeah.
dude's going full throttle at him with his pads. He's already a bulked up dude as is, and the referee's probably 5'8", 170 if that, and he's
He
an
got
adult.
laid out, and he was an older dude too.
He looks like, and I hate to describe it this way, but like how you end up seeing at like Cleveland Indians games when you have two people in the bubble balls and you end up running into each other and like a dude goes
Yeah.
flying. That's what happened. That's exactly what I thought.
Yep.
Like, it's just, again, like you were saying, you don't want to end up doing that stupid decision. Because even if he was a good football player, any college that's
It
looking
doesn't
at
matter.
him
You're
is
done.
gone.
You're done. You're done playing football. Your best chance is maybe getting the independent league. Play for the Cleveland Lions or something like that. That's that's your only chance right now.
Isn't it the Cleveland Cobras around here, I think?
Yeah, there's the Cleveland Cobras.
But, like, you have all that, and it's just so stupid that you could do that. But we'll get back into that probably a little bit later on. But I want to end up hitting on early with the Titans-Browns matchup. You have Derrick Henry against Nick Chubb. And when Baker Mayfield was asked about this matchup, his immediate response, and if I'm a Browns fan, I'm looking forward to this just because he's a team player. Not agreeing with the other Steelers fan. I forgot his name already.
Jew.
Him.
G.I. Jew.
G.I. Jew. So,
That's his name.
so with him saying Baker Mayfield isn't the guy, he's improved a lot. He wasted 1 year with Freddie Kitchens, and Freddie Kitchens he didn't develop, he didn't do anything with him.
Yeah.
He wasted his time. With Baker Mayfield, his comments, he's having comments like a leader. He was saying, what's your thoughts on the Derrick Henry-Nick Chubb matchup? Well, you're forgetting about Kareem Hunt, too. So it's Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb against Derrick Henry.
Yes, it is.
And
And
I'm honestly, we'll get into our picks later on, but I'm having the Browns win this game because I think the two-headed monster against the one-headed monster, fresher legs are going to prevail.
And we talked about this earlier in the week. I mean, the Browns are 6-1 when Chubb and Hunt both play in the same game, and that's granted that the only game they lost was that Mud Bowl against Oakland. That's the only one. The other one, it was I don't think we had, or no, we didn't have Hunt. I don't think for the Oakland game.
No, I think it was Nick Chubb because Kareem Hunt was.
Oh yeah, Chubb was still out. That's right. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just really excited to see this game. It's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be a very low.
Was the Steelers matchup?
No, it was the Ravens game.
Yeah,
the first game
week
of the
1.
year. I'm really interested to see this matchup. When it comes to the betting line, I would take the under on this because I feel like
it's going to be a game of time possession.
Yes, the ball's going to be ran a lot, and the time of possession is it's going to be a quick game. It's going to be over by 3:45, I think. You know, it's very, very run heavy. You know, I don't think each team is going to get the ball more than 8 times or 9 times this entire game. And that's going to be a low-scoring game. But if the Browns can manage and just move the ball, and Baker can do his job as a quarterback, and that means, you know, be good at doing audibles, you know, manage the clock. You don't have to make these spectacular play. Just manage the offense, drive them down the field, put points on the board. I mean, field goals are better than nothing. You got to get in field goal range, and you just got to at least start scoring.
And that's
the only way to beat this team. You can't have punts and wasted possessions.
As you ended up mentioning, though, was with the Baker Mayfield adjustment. And on Twitter, during the game against Jacksonville's defensive line ended up shifting, and Baker Mayfield, you could hear it. He literally says, after they adjusted, he went, "That was effing cute, guys." And then they ended up running the ball.
Yeah,
and
that's
like that's kind of like, I mean, you've seen Phillip Rivers talk his crap this year and literally call somebody out and be like, "Oh, you're coming for me? All right, come on. I'll be going right here, bootleg right side, whatever." Like, he would challenge people, and Baker Mayfield being a third-year quarterback gives you some hope because that's what leaders do. Like, you want to talk your trash no matter what you're playing because that's just the way any guy, girl, whatever. Everybody gets into that competitive spirit.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk their shit.
And that's what I liked about Baker Mayfield coming out of college. I mean, all the shenanigans, I mean, you can call them shenanigans, you know, the grabbing of the crotch towards the other team.
Planting of the flag in Ohio State. I hate that.
I hated that so much, obviously, because I'm a diehard Buckeyes fan. But at the same time, when draft time came and I thought back to that incident of him doing that, I went, you know what, though? If I was on that team, on his team, I would be like, that's my guy. That's my quarterback. That's my leader. That's the guy I want to go into battle with. And that's I think, you know, without Freddie Kitchens holding him back this year, Baker's taking in that leadership role, and I think the guys are really, really coming around him. And I think that's why the Browns are 8-3 because of leadership.
And I mean, honestly, too, it's week 13. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns being in the playoff hunt.
They're the number one wild card right now.
And they're not at, like, 5-8 in the playoff hunt like these NFC teams. Mm-hmm. They're contending, which is my lifetime. First time since, 2007? In 2007, I was 11 years old, so that didn't even really count. Didn't really matter for me, but this is something that a lot of people in my age bracket, probably in yours too, they don't see the Cleveland Browns winning. So why do you think you have teams or kids that are Patriots fans or fans of Cam Newton and the Panthers when he was around there, or all these teams that are better off because they're seeing these winners?
That's because this generation is so in love with things like the way the NBA runs things. It's all about the superstar, not about the team. So that's what they do. They follow, you know, the Odells. They follow the Tom Brady's, the Cam Newtons, the stars like that. You know, the Russell Wilsons, just because they see Russell Wilson on Nickelodeon. You know, that's.
I didn't even know he was on Nickelodeon.
That's this new generation. That's the way they are. You know, they become super fans of these, you know, superstars who. But luckily in the NFL, there's a decent salary cap, and contracts are a lot different to where you can't just up and go build a super team like the NBA.
Right. Or, I mean, even you could look at the MLB similar, too. Look at the Yankees. You had Giancarlo Stanton. You had Aaron Judge. You have Giovanni Urshela that kind of came out of nowhere. Like, their 1 through 9 is very threatening.
DJ LeMahieu's the best player on the team, and nobody even talks about him.
He's batting like 330 consistently, 340, 330 consistently. But the thing is, though, is that, like, the Browns, if they win today, it's not going to be so much about the what if they end up making it to the playoffs or what happens. Like, there's not going to be any possibilities. It's going to be more so speaking it into truth. Because it's going to be, hey, they beat the Titans.
If the Browns win this game, that's a huge, huge victory for them. It puts them ahead of 2 divisional leaders when it comes to records-wise. They'd be ahead of both the Titans and who's in the East?
The Bills would be up there too if they end up
Bills.
losing because they're 8-3 as well.
I'm thinking of the NFC East, that garbage division.
Oh, that doesn't matter then.
That doesn't matter. That's the NFC. But I mean, that puts the Browns in a position. If the Browns win today, literally Monday morning, that's the only thing we're talking about is playoffs in Cleveland because it's gonna happen. If the Browns win this game, that puts them 3 games ahead of Baltimore.
And Baltimore's just.
And yeah.
If there's a poop emoji anywhere, Brian, that you can pull up and just have a Ravens logo on top of it, that's all you got to show because that's the new logo for the Ravens and 6-5 this year. Also, another thing too, as we end up just talking football for a minute, the Steelers-Ravens game. A lot of people were more interested in that game, and they're like, "Well, the Ravens could hang with the Steelers." At the same time, though, I mean, this was a game that was supposed to be played the last Thursday, Thanksgiving, and it got played Wednesday at 3 o'clock. So you're telling me that no matter what sport, high school, college, NFL, you end up preparing for this game early on, and it got bumped back a week later almost, 3 o'clock, no fans, and then your following game gets moved to Monday afternoon against Washington. Everybody has to adjust this year, but I feel like the Steelers, they end up, I'm not making an excuse, but the short end of the stick is getting handed to them more often just because things that aren't out of their responsibility. Obviously, this time around, not so much because you have players that end up catching COVID, so it's not like you could blame it like the Titans when they had their outbreak, but it's just frustrating. There's a game of adjustments, and I feel like the Steelers are more powerful because they're getting pissed off that they're getting screwed over.
Go ahead, let them be angry. Go ahead, go play a football game angry. Don't play level-headed. Get upset. Go get frustrated with the NFL. The refs have been helping you out plenty enough this season already. I mean, if you're gonna bitch about the NFL, you obviously can't complain about the officiating. That's one thing for sure. I mean, you're complaining about the fact that they're moving your schedule around to be safe. It's 2020. That's what you signed up for when you signed up this year to play football. You knew things like this would happen. Reschedules were most likely. They're not going to cancel games.
Which is
got to play every game.
Because so far,
everybody
it's been
still
done
got
well.
paid. But that game was absolutely horrendous to watch. I think there was 5 turnovers in the first quarter. RG3 gets hurt. RG3 is not even worth watching as it is. And then you get Trace McSorley being the signal caller for the Ravens. That was really, really such an amazing game to watch on a Wednesday afternoon. Make history the wrong way. Thank you, Pittsburgh. Thank you, Baltimore, for what you did on Wednesday. We hope it never happens again.
And I mean, the thing is, too, is that, everybody, even if you're a football fan, you get super excited for the fact that it's a Wednesday football game. Something that's rare. Something that I want to say we ended up diving in, and last time that it happened was a Wednesday night preseason game. That was the last time football was played on a Wednesday, ever. But instead you have a regular season football game on a Wednesday afternoon, and it was, if you're local, if you have DirecTV, you didn't get to watch it. Me, for example.
Yeah, that was pretty wild that the contract negotiation happened right at that time. I mean,
and again, though, that's history, like you mentioned. It wasn't a good game to watch, but that was history, and it was what else are they going to have on, if you're a sports fan, what are you going to watch on a Wednesday afternoon?
Oh, women's basketball. That's
Good
what
call.
I would watch.
You know what? On that note, though, I think it's going to be time for a quick break. I'm thirsty. You sound thirsty. Brian already finished all his McCafe coffee, but
Strawberry banana smoothie, but close enough.
We are here
I
live
don't care
from
what
First
it
Up.
is.
Come on up. It's Sunday. It's a Browns Sunday football afternoon, baby. Free touchdown shots when the Browns score a touchdown. Also, $2 off the Broman Burger. Can't beat that deal. Get fries or tots with that. It is delicious. And also, Manscaped. Shave your balls, dog.
If you're
bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTSWITHAZ at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
And welcome back to the We Like Sports podcast with Parker, Pierce, Payton, Vince, and our producer Brian Fluke, live from First Stop Bar and Grill.
We're also going to be
Parma.
having Nick and Ruff on for Nick's Closet Party. What's
Dude.
coming out of Nick's Closet this week?
I don't know about you. I love closet parties.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You seem to be stuck in your own closet party, for quite some time now.
I was talking about like the jerseys.
Yeah,
Why did you have to
no.
go personal?
No, I said pretty much nobody likes your idea of jerseys. That's why we force you to take off that Steelers one. So you're just in your closet by yourself, hanging out with your jerseys that nobody likes. So you're in your own closet party.
That's all that matters, though. I mean, if you could entertain yourself, it's all about the little things in life.
Is it?
I think so. That's what I was told. Maybe it's because I didn't have friends as a kid. I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
But anyways, as we're back on the We Like Sports podcast, we got NBA, we're talking Cavs, we're talking marijuana, because you could no longer get tested for smoking, what's that called, Mary Jane?
The electric lettuce. You can no longer get tested for the electric lettuce, marijuana, reefer, doobies, the weeds. The NBA has gotten rid of the rule.
Actually,
of
I heard
testing.
Josh Gordon is possibly coming back.
Josh Gordon is reinstated by the
but
NFL.
he's going to the NBA because he could smoke his weed.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
go on.
God, I was so on topic, and you just take everything way off topic. You make no sense. Absolutely everything you do is just a crock of crap.
I make
don't
dollars.
understand it. Yeah, dollars.
Instead of cents.
Not even. Oh God. See, this is why I can't do this alone. Please, if you're in the Parma area and you want to come be on the show, we are here live at First Stop.
Until
Come on up and
4:45.
talk with us. Come talk and hang out with us. I can't do this by myself with him all day. So anyway, the NBA gets rid of testing for smoking the reefer. And did you see that picture of Brandon Ingram? That was
like a
absolutely
day
hilarious.
after it was official.
The
and
day
he's
after it's
just-
official, he shows up to the Pelicans facility, and this dude, he just has a 1,000-mile stare. I mean, his eyes were lower than Eddie Guerrero's lowrider. I mean, it was insane how low Brandon Ingram's eyes were, and he's taking full advantage of of that new no testing rule, and I absolutely love it. The world is a better place with marijuana in it. The sports world would be such a better place with marijuana in it. I mean, hate to say this, I had a sports injury in college, and I was borderline addicted to taking painkillers because my shoulder hurt that badly. If only I was able to, smoke some marijuana, maybe I would have been able to relax a little bit, and maybe I wouldn't have ever had those, feelings of, being addicted to pain medicine.
You know what else you could do, though, if you ended up not going the route of marijuana? You could always go to delightcafecbd.com. It's minus the THC in it. It's the legal form that's become super popular, the CBD form. So, I mean, that's also a solution that you could end up. If we had our packets today, we could end up pouring a little bit in your water, could have drank it, and you're good to go. Brandon Ingram, on the other hand, is not doing that.
No, he's not.
But it's there's a fine line between that, though. But, I mean, honestly, we have friends that partake in that, which is absolutely okay because that ends up, you have anxiety going into matchups, you have just no matter what. And the thing is, though, is that imagine going back to that incident, and I'm not saying that this kid should have, but if that was like college or professional and that athlete was that level, and let's say he smoked beforehand, what would have happened? Would that have happened, that incident, because he's just kind of 1,000-mile stare like Brandon Ingram, or would he end up actually still assaulting that official? You answer that yourself.
Well, that's just a punk kid, I think.
I hate to call a kid a punk, but at the end of the day, you're
You were
absolutely
a punk.
right. You've
back
been
in
a
the day.
punk.
Oh, I was a punk kid, that's for sure.
But it's good news because, I mean, obviously this is something that's became official. I mean, it makes you wonder, did Bronny Jr. end up having something about this? Because, I mean, if you look back, he is
going to be the future of the NBA.
He was with the
right?
Nuggets, and he was smoking a nugget for a nugget, and that was just all downhill. And LeBron played Big Papa role, and who knows if that was even an influence, too, because you kind of want to adjust the world as is for the better. And that's what a lot of people want to do, is just like, there's all this violence, and a lot of people just want peace. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the fact that they're doing that, hopefully it's better news. I just hope that, obviously, I'm curious to see if you end up playing, intoxicated. I don't even know which form to put that as, but would that be a better result, or would that be more so kind of just don't smoke before the games, or do you think people would be better off if they had their relaxation before?
Hey, look at Josh Gordon when he used to have those huge games for Cleveland. He was stoned out of his mind on that field. I mean, Harrison Barnes was another one. He would always he would toke up before a game. He just would, and he'd go out, and he said he'd play better when he was high.
It's crazy, but it makes you wonder
Not Harrison Barnes. Who's the other Barnes? Chris Barnes.
Oh yeah, Chris Barnes. Harrison Barnes.
Or not
is the
Chris
younger.
Barnes. Yeah,
Who are you talking about?
He's on the the jump now.
Oh, Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes, that's it. Matt
the
Barnes.
one that his
With all the
ex-wife
tats
or
and
whatever.
stuff. Yeah.
He was cheating on Derek Fisher's wife and whatever. All that drama, goes in
that
with
fun
basketball and sports. But anyways, though, as we're talking about basketball, and you have the Lakers that are going to be playing and the Heat that are going to be playing, their off season was only 71 days.
Yeah, but you kind of want to get everything back to normal. So, I mean, I feel like this year is going to be a shortened year as well, right? It has to be. So this year's going to be
shortened. They have it up. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily shortened. I know that they have one half of a schedule, the All-Star break, and then the second. They're just kind of playing it by ear because you never know what might happen, and there's no point in having a second half of the schedule if you don't have time to play.
right.
But the thing is that I don't think there's going to be as many breaks, and there's going to be a lot more back-to-backs. I mean, look at it back in 2011, 2012 when they had the lockout. The lockout happened, and you ended up having a lot of back-to-backs. You had 2-3 games in a row, and then you went on from there. A lot of game within that same time period, but, I mean, we'll find out the way they approach it. Obviously, you want to get through this first half first, and from there, the Cavs are playing the Charlotte Hornets. They play a little mellow ball.
In his first ever game.
And I believe in Charlotte, too, and that's 2 days before Christmas.
Wow. And I know the fan, it's going to be different with an NBA stadium because I think the Cavs are only allowing 300 people in for the first part of the season.
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
So you only get 300 people. That's actually a big difference compared to, at least getting 6,000 to 10,000 in an NFL game. 300 in a 21,000 person stadium. It's going to sound like crickets. You're going to hear everybody's personal conversations. It's just going to be absolutely weird. All you're going to hear is sneakers.
Just that, I don't want to say, too, a lot of the way that I want to say I think the NBA is going this approach, or else this was the Super Bowl. I think it's the Super Bowl because they're going with fans, but they have, 20,000, I think they're allowing in for the Super Bowl, and they have individual pods planned so that you're social distancing and you have the glass pod to your right, glass pod to your left, and your group of people that you hang around with all the time.
Yeah. Well, where's the Super Bowl at this year? Tampa Bay?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Let me check,
Tampa
though.
Bay. That's going to be weird.
Let's see. What Super Bowl are we on?
Because what happens if it ends up raining and you're in this glass pod? And what are you gonna have windshield wipers? How you gonna see? How you gonna see through the pods?
Well, it's in Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay doesn't have a dome. It's outdoors.
No, it's outdoors, and that's. It rains in Florida. I mean,
wipers?
What happens if it's just a steady rain and you're sitting in this glass pod at the Super Bowl, and you just have, it's like you're driving a car with no windshield wipers.
What if they have somebody have a rag run by and just wipe off your glass pod? Oh man. The thing is, though, is that this year with the Super Bowl, obviously looking a little bit ahead, we're week 13 now. 4 more weeks are left of the regular season.
It's crazy.
We're in December.
This year went by very quickly. I think that's because it's actually been fun. It's actually been a fun one for us Browns fans, so it's gone by a little quicker. But, I mean...
And you're not talking about these things that are called mock drafts this time of year either?
What's a mock draft, Cleveland? I don't know what a mock draft is this year. I haven't looked at a single one yet. Because I have no idea where the Browns are going to end up. They might be in the top, they might be in the bottom 10 of the entire NFL draft. We might be picking 26, 27. You never know.
I mean, if Riggs ends up getting that tattoo, they might be picking 30.
32.
32, yeah. Either way, 30 works too, though. I mean, somewhere down the line that doesn't happen too often. There's excitement amongst Browns fans, which is cool. It's cool to see. But the thing is, though, is going back with the Super Bowl matchup being in Tampa. Last year, this could have happened with the Titans playing in Tennessee. They could have played at their home field for the Super Bowl. Do you see Tom Brady and the Buccaneers possibly playing at their own home field and the Super Bowl?
Wait, the Super Bowl was in Nashville last year?
Yeah, I want to say it was.
I thought it was in Atlanta's new stadium.
Hold on, let me fact check this. So we have. It was in Miami, and it would have been Ryan Tannehill playing where he once played
gotcha.
at. That's right. But yeah, I mean, you could have Tom Brady, and you could have Gronk, and you could have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with them playing. I mean, you're going to have a home field advantage that way, too. You're telling me that people in Tampa aren't going to sell out those 20,000 tickets they're selling? I mean, when was the last time they were relevant before Tom Brady? It's been a minute.
Oh, God, you're going to go back to the Brad Johnson, Keyshawn Johnson era. You know, you had Rondé Barber on defense, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp. I mean, that's really the last time Tampa Bay was even worth watching. I mean, you had...
You had guys
Mike
like
Glennon.
Vincent Jackson in there. You had Mike Evans, and Mike Evans has been around since 2013, 2014. He's finally kind of showing up and becoming.
Well, Mike Evans was an absolute monster.
He just never had a quarterback.
He just never had a real team around him. He was almost like a Josh Gordon on the Cleveland Browns. You know, that was really the only guy you had as a weapon, and you can't be successful with just one guy. And I mean, now Tom Brady's got that team going in the right direction a little bit, but I still don't see them making, big waves in the playoffs. I think Tom Brady, I think this is his last, actual very competitive year. I think after this, he's pretty much done.
So if you look at who Mike Evans has had to play with since he's been drafted, you have Mike Glennon and Josh McCown.
Yep.
After that, in 2015, you had Jameis Winston, Mike Glennon, Ryan Griffin. And I think it's just Ryan Griffin. It's not the third. 2016, you got Mike Glennon, Ryan Griffin, Jameis Winston. I mean, and then from there on out, you had Jameis Winston essentially starting all the time for him.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston isn't even starting for the Saints. He's a backup to Taysom Hill.
He is.
And Taysom
He's
Hill
a
isn't
third
even a
stringer.
quarterback. He's more of like that just
He's a
like...
wide receiver, tight end.
He's
whatever,
literally
wild
the
card.
utility guy.
He's the wild card, baby.
But going back to the Cavs, with their 300 fans in attendance, obviously it's good news that you get some kind of fans because you want people there. Because at the end of the day, if you play, I mean, it was difficult to watch the playoffs with everybody in a green screen or whatever.
I mean, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I mean, the fact that the Cavs have 300 people coming to their game actually is about right on par for them usually when they don't have a guy named LeBron playing. I mean,
yeah, that's very valid, unfortunately.
The crowds suck as it is. I mean, as long as we get to be kind of even with the rest of the NBA, everybody only gets 300 or so, that'll be nice. But, I mean, until the Cavs actually prove something, this really isn't that big of a deal because people only go to Cavs games nowadays if they get tickets from their uncle who can't sell them for the huge price he was locked in at when LeBron was here.
And, that's the thing, too, is that you have... So let's backtrack too while we're talking Cavs, and I don't know if we hit on this last Wednesday from Riggs' house, We Like Sports headquartered juniors outside of the studio, but we have LeBron James that signed an extension until 2023. Bronny comes out that year too. Do the Cavs possibly, who knows what happens? Do we have to wait from now until another 2023 until they become relevant again and just kind of build around LeBron's son? That's just the way it seems like it's going to happen.
I also could see LeBron just going to wherever LeBron Jr. gets drafted to.
Yeah, he could do that.
LeBron Jr. gets drafted to, I could see LeBron going and playing with him for a year or two just to do it. And then maybe, going back and playing for a team that's in the same, conference just so he can play his son in the playoffs.
That'd be kind of cool. Imagine that,
After that, that'd be awesome.
But, like, at the same time, though, LeBron's 36, 37 right now. Another 3 years, he's going to be pushing 40. And I don't think that's an issue for LeBron because LeBron's LeBron. But at the same time,
LeBron could play until he's 45.
I mean, he's literally – he freezes himself like Walt Disney every, like, winter or summer, whatever way you want to look at it, and cryogenic chambers and whatnot. Like, that man is the first man that ever put so much effort into his body to actually be healthy. And I mean, knock on table, wood, whatever. He's been healthy the majority of his career, outside of missing one or two games.
Maybe like getting elbowed in the face, needing to wear a face guard every now and
But he
again.
still
That's really
played.
it. I mean, except for last year or the year before, his first year in Vegas was, or not in Vegas, Los Angeles.
That was the biggest injury he's had.
That's his only significant injury, I think, in his entire NBA career, which speaks a lot about how, well trained he is, how disciplined he is, how much work he does put into his own body, and it's pretty impressive.
But I do want to hit on a little bit more basketball news too, because they ended up finally releasing the schedule, and I had it bookmarked, but no, that's the one. So we have DeMar DeRozan that had an intruder break into his house in LA, made his way upstairs into their play area, and one of DeRozan's kids were hanging out in that play area, and DeRozan came face to face with that intruder and chased the man out. I mean, this was back in November 19th, but it still makes you feel a little uneasy because this is something that is happening to an athlete. Like, it could happen to you and I too, but at the same time, this is an athlete that's dealing with it, and people get very crazy when it comes to knowing an athlete or trying to divulge with an athlete and kind of ruining their career or attempting to or stalking them.
I mean,
and it's very unsafe.
Just look back, 12 years ago, Sean Taylor for Washington died. He was killed defending his family from multiple intruders. And that's the type of stuff. It's so sad to see things like that. I mean, even though it's in the sports world, it could happen to anybody. It's good for him that he was able to get the intruder out without anybody getting harmed, but you don't like seeing that stuff. And just people, leave these athletes alone. I mean, we all know where LeBron lives and stuff. We knew where his house was. Don't go hanging outside of his house, waiting for him to come home.
This is the only thing I say where that's actually, makes valid sense to do that is, when he came back in 2014, people were kind of like, hey, we'll hang out in our cars and we'll welcome him. Yeah, because obviously, he's coming back to Cleveland, and he was a big part, and he decided to come back, and, you want to welcome an athlete of that caliber, but you don't want to be, sitting in his living room and be like, hey, man, what's up?
Right.
I stole your trophy from 2020 or 2010 with the Miami Heat. There's that fine line you got to walk.
Yeah.
But on another note, as we're talking about basketball still, former Cleveland Cavaliers point guard, back at it again. Kyrie Irving said he'll be doing a media blackout this season and not speak to anybody in the media throughout the year, according to Brian Windhorst.
What was that?
Kyrie Irving's doing a media blackout this year. He's not speaking to anybody in the media. He's just playing ball and he's going home.
Good for him. I wish everybody would do that. I wish every single professional athlete would do that and not talk to the media. The media doesn't need to know anything. Media, report what you see on the field, not what the players are telling you.
I mean,
don't stir up drama. Just stay out of it. Watch and report what you see is happening on the field. If you can't get a story from what you're seeing is happening on the field, are you even a reporter?
But obviously you want to interview these guys too because you can't read minds. That's the reason why. Obviously, as an athlete, when you sign up to play professional sports, and I mean, obviously this is something that, we had Zach Plesac, we had Peyton Hillis. Again, imagine if they did those blackout interviews or the blackout media with us, and they just didn't speak to us and we never had that opportunity. That's a part of what Kyrie Irving's even doing. And after you play that game...
Well, Kyrie's doing that, but what I'm saying is, that's cool, but the problem is they're getting... These reporters are... Reporters should not be allowed inside locker rooms, I don't think.
Well, there's just
press conferences. Okay,
now.
That's one thing, but I mean, when it comes to reporters, you're getting these players in their locker room. They just got out of the shower. They just played a hard-fought game. A lot of emotions going through, and you're trying to pick their brains for something that you can put into your paper or onto your website because it's clickbait. You know, oh, he said this, he did that. No, let the man go to a press conference. Go ahead, sit down. Let him. That's where you do your interviews. Don't. I'm sick of all this locker room interviewing stuff. I mean, that's where all the bad stuff comes out.
But at the same time, though, with the press conferences, you end up having like
The press conferences would be the day after a game, not the same night.
But at the same time, though, it's always that initial reaction and the thoughts of the game, and that's obviously, like, if I end up asking you what your thoughts were about Wednesday's show, is it going to be the same after doing the show exactly after Wednesday night? It'll be a different thing, because even if things got hot and heated, you're going to end up kind of just, if you have a grudge against somebody, you're going to end up still making that comment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that, like, press conferences, you have the Indians, for example. They usually give you, like, 2-3 players. That's it. Sometimes they only give you like 2, and then you have to find that third. And the way that media works is that you have to get like 3 cuts of audio. You could get 2 from that press conference, but you need a third one. That's when you end up trying to search for that player that went 3 for 3 in baseball with like a home run, and like it's a lot of patience because like as an athlete you have like that's part of your obligation, unfortunately.
Oh, and also to Cliff. Hi,
Hawkins.
Hawk. How's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Miss playing for the Dukes, that's for sure. But the beer, we want to know where the beer is? The beer comes at afternoon. I don't start drinking until noon. It's just a rule of mine. Sorry. But I'll have beer in the next segment. That's for sure.
You know, so that's for damn sure. And that would have been okay. But anyways, though, like that's just kind of the outlook that I'm thinking is that you have to, like, if you're an athlete, you got to do what you got to do. That's part of your job description. Kyrie Irving just likes having problems and drama. Maybe it's a good thing for him, for example, that he's not speaking because he might just say something dumb. And that might be why he chooses to do that. But before we end up taking a quick break, I wanted to say I found one other thing NBA-wise. If not, it's actually, okay. It's the fact that there was talks that Giannis ended up saying that if LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis wanted to join me in Milwaukee, I would be happy. I don't care about being number 1, number 2, or number 3. Or number 4. And that was before LeBron obviously extended with the Lakers and Anthony Davis extended with the Lakers. But imagine what if they had that type of team when everybody just kind of wants to play and that's literally the 4 best players in the league. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, cool, do that. Then I really have no excuse to watch the NBA at all this season. Go ahead, make that super team. Make whatever super teams you want. I really don't care. Until the Cavs are relevant again, I'm not watching your super team fiasco going all around from, oh, we've got to go jump from one team to the next. Oh, I don't like this coach. I don't want to play here anymore. I want to opt out of my 4-year contract that I just signed 3 months ago. No, the world doesn't work that way, and the NBA should not be working that way.
But it does for Russell Westbrook, though, because he ended up getting traded to the Wizards. John Wall said, I didn't want to play second fiddle to Bradley Beal, but guess what? Russell Westbrook probably isn't going to be playing second fiddle to Bradley Beal either. That's going to be a unit that they have to work together. No matter whose team that is, even though it is Bradley Beal, you have to end up actually working together, and John Wall just got his feelings hurt. That's just the way it works. That's the way sports are.
Well,
but on that,
I don't blame the Wizards for being upset or hurting John Wall's feelings. John Wall hasn't been on the court in quite some time. And,
two and a half
and you know
years.
what? You can't build your franchise around a guy who can't get on the court. So I think there was a good move for them to actually, get away from John Wall, get away from the whole, this deal going on. John Wall.
That was only relevant like
Wall.
1 year, and that was his rookie year.
Yeah, they even made a song about him.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yep.
But anyways, though, on that note, I think you're going to end up grabbing a beer for Cliff
I am
Hawkins
going to
and
grab
yourself.
a beer for Cliff.
But before we end up taking a quick break, when we get back, we're going to be talking Ohio State football against Michigan State. We're going to be talking that next week matchup between that other team from up north. Are you familiar with that?
Who?
If
what?
that does happen, who knows?
And then also we got Nick's Closet Party. What's coming out of Nick's Closet this week? We are live from First Stop in Parma. Bro Man Burger, $2 off. Come on in, free touchdown shots every time the Browns score a touchdown today. You can't beat that, son. Get
And
up here to
Manscaped.
First Stop, State Road, Parma. We'll see you soon.
Manscaped Sports with the Z promo code. Check it out. Shave your balls. welcome back to the We Like Sports podcast with Parker Pierce. If we're going to get it out there and we're going to have Nick's closet party, we might as well just throw out, because it's going to come out later on too, and Austin, because there's like 3 different guys of you. Mm-hmm. You have like the Mick Foley personalities.
Yeah. Bang, bang.
And Peyton Vance and our producer Brian Fluke, live from First Stop Bar and Grill in Parma.
See, I wish we had the Peyton Vince personality of the former Mega Wrestling announcer. Peyton Vince. Can you give me a little intro? Next time we come in, give me the Peyton Vince from Mega Wrestling intro.
It depends. If you give me a little bit more of those.
A little bit more? You mean your first sip will make you do that?
Maybe. But anyways, as we're back, we're talking NFL once again with our picks. First matchup of the week, obviously, at least in this order, we got the Miami Dolphins against the Cincinnati Bengals. Ryan Fitzpatrick is back. Tua Tagovailoa is out more than likely. Who do you got?
I believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I feel like they were playing good football even when Tua first, came in to take over the starting position at quarterback. But remember we had that discussion about how Ryan Fitzpatrick felt like he was, kind of like abandoned by the Dolphins.
Yeah,
he felt kind of like he felt like he lost his team when he thought it was his team. He thought they were going to have Tua sit a little longer. But with Tua being out, and I mean, look, they benched Tua just, last week?
Well, I think he's hurt. That's why. That's why. And Fitzpatrick.
But no, I mean, who are they playing again?
The Bengals.
The Bengals, yeah. Bengals
they
without
don't even
Burrow.
have a quarterback.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I believe in Ryan Fitzmagic on this one.
And honestly,
And
he's
there's
been
no way.
last
There's no
3
way.
games. He's 3-0 when he's starting. So I mean, that's good news for them. Miami, obviously, definitely, like I've been saying, definitely that surprise team this year that nobody really thought, because you had Ryan Fitzpatrick and then Tua ended up stepping up and he looked good too. But I'm going with Miami as well. Next game, Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears. You got Detroit, I got Chicago. Why Detroit? Are you thinking that bounce back since they fired Patricia and the GM?
Yeah, every team seems to always get that spark behind their ass. Once a head coach gets fired, usually for a couple weeks, they play totally different football. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. Also, I don't have any faith anymore in Big Dick Nick coming out of Chicago. I mean, he's been an absolute disaster.
So, as you bring that up, I want to get your thoughts on this, too, because I saw it on Twitter, and people are stupid because they make comparisons that mean nothing. And NFL and CBS's Twitter account compared Baker Mayfield to Mitch Trubisky in their first 40 starts. Baker has 9,459 pass yards. Mitch has 8,347. Completion ratings are about the same. Touchdown to interceptions about the same. Turnovers 48 for Baker, 36 for Mitch Trubisky. Baker's 20-20. Mitch Trubisky's 22-18. They're pretty much trying to say that Baker Mayfield is worse than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, just on Wednesday you were throwing out stats about his first 47 starts, comparing him to Drew Brees, Russell
And I'm not
Wilson,
agreeing with
and-
this. I'm just reading off what Twitter has. Is
so
that Mitch Trubisky...
Trust me, it has nothing to do with the stats. It's mostly the eye test right now. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, you could just see it in his play. He didn't pass the eye test of what you want to be an NFL quarterback.
And I mean, I'm not saying any local area high school isn't producing NFL athletes, but you wouldn't expect a school like Mentor.
Oh, Mentor's always been great,
or
but
North
they
Carolina
play good
College.
team football.
Or North Carolina College.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like comparing Daniel Jones to being a star quarterback that's not playing this week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going with Chicago, though. I think this is the Lions, yes, they fired their coach. They fired their GM. I don't think this is their bounce-back game yet. I feel like they're going to go on a run, but it's not yet. I think Chicago's going to take care of them, and then Detroit ends up having a run. Next game, the Colts versus the Houston Texans. We both go with the Colts. Why?
I mean, Deshaun Watson has been playing a lot better. I think
And Tua is actually supposed to start this game against the Bengals, too.
Look at that.
That just in.
I think in the last 6 games, Deshaun Watson has something like 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So he's really turned the corner, getting back on track of being a good quarterback. But Indiana's just a more complete team. I just
Indianapolis?
see well,
I got it.
yes, Indianapolis. They're just a more complete team all around, both sides of the ball. And I mean, I like this matchup with Phillip Rivers, going up against, Deshaun Watson. I think I think Phillip's got one last run in him. I think this is the year that he actually might, make a push in the playoffs. He'll still never get a Super Bowl, but I think that they're gonna take care of Houston pretty easily today.
Next game, you got the Minnesota Vikings against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 1-11, 1-10.
1-10.
Minnesota's finally turned the corner. Dalvin Cook's been the leader that they wanted.
Dalvin Cook is injured, or he's hurt, isn't he?
I believe so, but still, though, I mean, he stepped up throughout the weeks when he's been there, and I feel like that carries over. Even if he's not playing, I expect him to have some part of. I mean, you always see it. If a quarterback ends up getting hurt, he's still calling plays, or at least having some key piece of that game.
And Adam. Kirk Cousins is playing a lot better. Adam Thielen and Jordan Jefferson, they've really become quite a duo there in Minnesota. Which that was a huge thing for Jefferson, was the fact that Stephon Diggs ended up going to Buffalo. And he's proven that, he's pretty close to, filling, Delvin, or not Delvin Cook.
Stephon Diggs'
shoes. And Adam Thielen, man, he makes crazy catch after crazy catch week in and week out. He's something special to watch.
And he's back this week after being on the restricted list for COVID, too, so that's good news for the Vikings,
so,
too.
yeah, I'm taking Minnesota.
We got the Las Vegas Raiders against the New York Jets that are 0-12,
Never
13,
bet
14,
on the
15.
Jets.
Well, yeah, you want to bet on the Jets. You want to bet against the Jets.
Never bet on the Jets. Always bet against them.
We got Vegas. I don't think there needs to be an explanation.
Yeah, no explanation.
We got the New Orleans Saints against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons looked really good last week.
But the thing is the Falcons have looked good on offense all year round. They just find ways to lose games. That's the thing.
I mean, that first week they found a way to lose a game when they were up big, and it's very reminiscent of the New England game.
That's why there were so many trade talks about Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, was because they weren't having bad seasons. They were putting together some pretty big numbers. And, I mean, the fact of the matter is that they just found ways to lose games, Their biggest thing is they should not have brought back Mike Smith, the head coach.
For
Atlanta. That dude is way past his time in Atlanta, and I think they need a whole new scheme down there. And I was really surprised that they didn't end up trying to completely overturn the team, trade like Matt Ryan, trade Julio Jones.
I was expecting that to happen, honestly, but I'm good news that it didn't for the Falcons, because obviously you still, you just have to build around your defense at this point. But this game, we're both going with the Saints. I don't think there needs to be a reason why when Taysom Hill's he's not the best quarterback, but he's looking good, and he has many components that can make him more of a threat than just being a pocket presence.
Yeah.
Next game, we got the Rams against the Arizona Cardinals. You're picking the Cardinals. I'm picking the Rams. I'm picking the Rams because the Cardinals, Kyler Murray is starting to look human. He's stealing candy, running around like a kid that's just trying to avoid his parents, like you mentioned.
Little Tyler running with a stolen piece of candy.
But the Rams, this isn't a must-win game, but the Cardinals don't look as good as they did early on. I guess the comparison of Kyler Murray this year is very reminiscent of Russell Wilson this year, too, because Russell Wilson looked very MVP caliber, but now he kind of stepped down. That's why I'm going with the Rams. Why are you going with the Cardinals, though?
The Rams, I feel like I'm really excited to see this matchup between Aaron Donald and
Every
Kyler Murray.
week, it's like I'm looking forward to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's
everybody else on the defense, but Aaron Donald.
Kyler Murray is
defense.
so small and so quick that I think he could get away from Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald could eat him for lunch.
But if Aaron Donald actually gets a hold of him, who knows? Kyler Murray might be done for the season. But the matchup that I'm really, really excited to see is the matchup of the veteran cornerbacks of LA. You got Aqib Talib.
Yep.
That secondary.
DeAndre Hopkins.
That secondary of LA is so good, and I can't wait to see how, you have Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins. You still have
Christian Kirk.
I'm just really interested to see that matchup, but I'm going with Arizona on this one. I don't know why, just a hunch. I kind of haven't really bet much against Arizona all year, and I'm just going to ride with it.
And I feel like I haven't either, but it had to be one time because I was kind of riding that wave with the San Diego Chargers or the Los Angeles
I'm also
Chargers.
not the biggest fan of golf, so I don't bet on golf very often.
Fair enough.
I did in the Super Bowl, and it came back to bite me.
Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks against the New York Giants. The Giants don't have Daniel Jones. They don't have Saquon. Seattle. There is no reason that you have to pick against Seattle here.
Yeah. DK Metcalf, man, what a guy.
He's a freak athlete, that's for sure. But then we have the New England Patriots.
Hold on, wait. I see Jared Goff on the screen right now, and I just want to go back to talk about Halloween. Did you see what Jared Goff went as for Halloween?
No.
He went as B-Rad, Jamie Kennedy's character from Malibu's Most Wanted, and he pulled it off to a T. It was actually, like, spot on. 100% spot on. He looked just like Jamie Kennedy, which is great because he lives in L.A., which is right where, Malibu is.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Did you see it?
This is it right here,
That's it right there.
We're going to pull this up to the camera right here.
Back it up.
It's so weird.
Jared Goff, he won Halloween this year. Jared Goff for sure did. But
Yeah,
I'm still
that's for
betting
sure.
against you.
All right, so we have next game, New England Patriots against the Chargers. You're picking the Chargers. Like I said earlier, I'm picking against the Chargers because I had so much belief in Justin Herbert that it keeps on biting me in the ass. Eventually, I have to pick against them in this game against New England. They're going to be 6-6 after this game, I think. It's going to be a close game, but I can't pick the Chargers after losing repetitively.
They have been, but Justin Herbert has been playing like a top 10 quarterback this year. Like he really has.
He's good, and he's only a rookie.
And you know what? The wins are going to start coming. The play is there. The stats are there. Just the stats. Remember, like I said, it's all about the stats.
Yep.
The stats are going to provide wins. And I think this is where it starts for Justin Herbert's career.
We got Green Bay Packers against the Philadelphia Eagles. You and I are both going Green Bay. No
Carson Wentz
explanation.
is a disaster.
Jalen Hurts might be getting some play time. Denver Broncos against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs end up winning this one big, I think. You do too, probably. That's why you picked the Chiefs.
Yep.
Monday evening football, I guess. We got the Steelers against the Washington football team. I'm picking the Steelers. You're picking Washington. Why do you think Washington prevails here?
You know what? On Thanksgiving Day, I saw an Alex Smith that I have not seen in a very, very long time. And it gave me a little bit of hope that maybe we could see some, of Alex Smith's, career that he had over the past, 10 years actually come back into fruition after that really, really devastating, knee injury.
Yeah.
And it's just a feel-good story for me. And if Alex Smith coming off of injury, not playing for 2.5 years,
Literally shouldn't have walked.
is the guy that ends the undefeated streak for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How could you not want that to happen?
And you're kind of taking my approach there because whenever I end up looking at something, especially come playoff time, I always look at the story that's going around. And that, I hate to say it, that could be a possibility. And there's also a possibility that Ben Roethlisberger might be out that game
because
too.
You also have to think this is a very important game for Washington. Even though they only have 4 wins on the season, they're are still in second place for their division, like only a half game back. So it's not like this is a very important game.
It's not a
for
meaningless
Washington.
game.
Right.
So your next game, though, we got Monday Night Football now. Buffalo against San Francisco. You and I are both going Buffalo. San Francisco, they had their ups, they had their downs. Buffalo's just been a better team than San Francisco. That's why I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah, San Francisco's had their, more than fair share of injuries this year. I think Bosa's still out. Pretty much their entire defensive,
their whole entire defensive line
is pretty much out. I mean, Garoppolo's been on and off the field. Their running game is nowhere near as good as it is, because they have offensive linemen missing. They have last year, the only reason they made it to the Super Bowl was because they had the fastest offensive linemen in the NFL.
And they also had like a 3-headed monster
They
too.
moved laterally. You had Mostert. You had
Breida at one point. You had Tevin Coleman.
Oh yeah, just 3 fast backs, and you had the fastest offensive linemen. I mean, they were going east and west the entire time, and then go north. I mean, it was crazy how fast they would shift in and out and to get to their blocks like way before the defenders even knew it happened.
And I mean that
just hasn't been there this
year. The Browns, though, if you have a good offensive line, you have a good run game.
And that's also Kyle Shanahan's system. Kyle Shanahan does have a good system, but too many injuries for you, bud. You can't be that successful with that many injuries all year.
We got Tuesday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys against the Baltimore Ravens. Dallas is struggling big time. Ravens obviously need this as a bounce back game after losing last.
That's because nobody
week.
believes in Andy Dalton anymore.
No,
Who would?
that's why he went to Dallas as a backup.
Yep.
Your last game, though, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Browns versus the Titans. I'm going Browns. You're going Browns. I gave my reason earlier on. Why are you going Browns?
Because this is the first important Sunday game the Cleveland Browns have played in December in over 10 years. I mean, it's since 2007. That was the last time the Browns played an important game in December. And you know what? They didn't come through last time. They lost that game to Cincinnati in Week 17. That didn't get them into the playoffs. And granted, yeah, Peyton Manning sat, and Tennessee ended up winning, and they took the last playoff spot. But either way, that was a meaningful game in December, and the Browns blew it. This is the first important, meaningful game in December for the Browns since 2007. And you know what? They have to take it. And if they don't, it's going to be a setback for the franchise a little bit.
And you're absolutely right. This is not necessarily a must-win game, but this has big implications for it at the end of the day. But on that note, though, that's it for our picks for Week 13. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, is Nick here for his closet party?
I'm looking. I don't see him.
If not, we got Gypsy Freebird,
We
though.
do.
He could hop
That
on.
we do.
But on that note, though, First Stop Bar and Grill in Parma. We're live here until 12:45. Don't go anywhere. Come up, hang out for a minute. Also, make sure you manscape, too. Sports with a Z. Riggs is doing it right now. That's why he's not here. We'll catch you after this break.
Manscaped. Use the promo code SPORTS with a Z, SPORTZ. Ball toner, ball deodorant, ball shaver. And you get a nice bag to shave your hairy bag. Manscaped.
Welcome back to We Like Sports here at First Stop. My name is Nick. To my right is Austin. To my left is
Peyton.
And it's Nick's closet party! Nick, what do you have coming out of the closet this week? I see you rocking the orange.
I'm actually wearing it right now. This is an authentic Browns jersey that I got maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Now I see it's the newish. Well, actually, not the new, but the last scheme that they did with the design. What was your thoughts about them actually changing up the Browns jersey, going from the complete tradition style to this new version of jersey? And what were your thoughts when you saw the orange?
I wasn't keen on it at first, but then once I saw him play, and I started grew into it. I always wanted the orange jerseys from the previous orange jersey, but I couldn't find one.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, since they came out with the orange one, I'm like, I gotta buy one.
So, Nick, what are your thoughts on the Browns color rush jerseys? I know a lot of people, like especially back when Baker Mayfield made his debut, that was a color rush game Thursday night. People were super into it, and I think last year they ended up wearing it a lot more often. What were your initial thoughts on the Browns color rush jerseys?
Oh, I loved them. I still do. I mean, it's one of the best color schemes that they designed. In fact, I was thinking maybe one year they could have used those color rushes as a home jersey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was hoping for that, but then they went back to the traditional.
I really did like the simple, color rush jersey they did with when Baker had his debut. I was at that game.
It was clean.
Oh, it was so clean. It was just a simple brown and orange. There were no other colors. There was no white in it. There was no nothing. It was just brown with orange lettering, no trim, no outline, no nothing. It was simple, and it was perfect. And I kind of wish that they could have done that, but did also like a white and an orange style of just that simple style.
That's what I was hoping for when they announced that they were going to go get new jerseys for the 2020 season. And that was my initial thought, is that they were going to use those as their home jerseys, and then bring a white version of that as a road.
I mean, that's usually how the color rushes go, though. It was always like you have your white combination. That would be like very rarely do you end up having two color jerseys. Like Seattle has like their green and their blue for color rush, but that's just because that's their colors. With
the lime green one.
Yeah, the very fancy lime green. This is coming from a Steelers fan that also likes looking like a bumblebee too. So you guys can make your comments if you want.
No, you guys look like inmates.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, lucky for me, I have not been to prison.
Good for you. Proud of you. So Nick, with the whole orange theme going on, are you a bigger fan when the Browns wear the orange jerseys or when they wear the orange pants?
Orange jerseys, one.
Orange jerseys.
I mean, I'm trying to think of just so many people, like Browns fans wise, the biggest uproar people hated about was always like the all white jerseys. Like they always like the orange combination somehow, some way, whether it's the tops.
I hate the all white jersey, and the main reason I hated the all white jersey was because I think there was 2 years back to back when Colt McCoy was the quarterback. If you go back and watch, there's not many games of Colt McCoy wearing a brown jersey. It didn't exist. They wore white on white every single game the one year. And I've never been more frustrated in my life.
It's really interesting is that these jerseys, when they first came out, they never really wore them in a game as much. They only did it maybe 3 times, I think, in that season. And one of them was with Manziel wearing it.
So that doesn't matter then.
Well, yeah. But any other time, they never wore them during a game. And it was always on like the off-field stuff, doing charity work and all that.
And the thing that I'm remembering too is that the best combo, if I'm wearing a Browns jersey, I think it would have to be, at least like if I ever played Madden, I couldn't be the Steelers. It was always I had to be picking out my uniform. I wanted the orange top and the orange pants, or else the orange and brown. It was either like one solid color and one just like continuity of a uniform instead of like all white. I always had color. I always needed color in my jerseys.
I always loved it because then it looked like a bunch of the Syracuse orange mascots running around the field in Madden when you wore the orange on orange.
Isn't Syracuse even called the Orange too? Like,
Yeah,
there's something.
Syracuse orange.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember like jersey combinations. Last time when you were here, Nick, you ended up having. Which one was it? You were talking about the Anaheim Mighty Ducks
Yeah,
jersey you
I
had.
actually want to clarify that because the 25th anniversary jersey that they came out with, the shoulders are not black. It's the teal green.
Okay.
I'm going to clear that up. I was going to do that last week on your guys' show, but the show didn't happen.
That is true. But
I mean, after looking at it, I was like, yeah, it's not black. It's the shoulders are teal.
it's amazing how much, and I guess like this is part of the sports though too, is that how many people enjoy paying attention to like your jersey combination. Like you always like, no matter what, like jerseys aren't cheap. Like you're always, I think you mentioned this last time, like you're investing in this jersey. And that's why you have your last name on the back of them, because you know you're not leaving and you're never going to play.
Yeah.
Like that's just the best route to do it. And I mean, typically for me though, when I was growing up, when it came to jerseys, I was never much of like an authentic jersey guy. I was more of the jersey guy. Like I ended up having my shirt jersey that I'd throw on because it was a lot cheaper, and like $30 for an Indians jersey or $120 for an Indians jersey.
Yeah.
Which one would I rather have?
Oh yeah, the shirt jerseys were always the way to go for me. I mean, the last shirt jersey I ever bought though was a Jabril Peppers, a Jabril Peppers jersey, and they traded him 3 weeks later.
I remember you wearing that. That's funny as hell. And I'm like, have you made any jersey purchases since the last time you were on, Nick? Or are you considering any?
Oh, I am. The NHL just came out with retro jerseys. So
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's called Reverse Retros, and I'm actually planning on getting the Vegas one, which is the red with the secondary logo on the main crest, and their main logo on the shoulders.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Las Vegas Knights.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, when we're talking about jerseys, too, I just thought of this, too, because you were talking about, like, the NHL's new jerseys. I was thinking about the Cavs'
Sweaters.
new jersey. No, the Cavs' new jersey with the city jerseys.
The city jersey?
Yeah.
The city jersey.
I don't know how I feel about the city jersey coming out. I don't like how every single letter has a different font to it. It's just, it looks really, really sloppy, and I'm just really not into it. The only thing I'm into is the color scheme. That's it.
I know I saw something on Facebook or something like that that they have a description of what each
individual letter
each
is.
individual letters represent.
And I'm trying to, like, my initial thoughts when I saw it, I love the way the C looks with Cleveland.
Well, yeah.
But, like,
of course you're going to do the C, the regular, C logo.
but, like, that might be something I might be dumb enough to actually get. Just because if I end up getting a player, I probably can't get a player because who knows who ends up coming and who ends up going.
You might as well just get a Nance jersey. Just get a Larry Nance one.
Or else I might just get my own. I might customize it,
There
get my
you
number
go.
11 on the back.
Number 11.
I mean, I do have a Cavs jersey that's their actual road jersey, the maroon,
Okay.
and I have Korver on it.
Good old
Oh,
Kyle
boy.
Korver.
And
That dude was so tan.
and I got that like 3 years ago, and the following year we traded him to.
That's how it usually works.
Yep.
I was like, yeah,
Never again.
never again.
But as you mentioned, Austin, with the sweater idea, what route were you going with your Christmas sweater or your sweater jersey?
Since it's coming up to NHL season, does your closet have a Christmas list that it wrote yet? Is Santa gonna bring your closet any specific jerseys this year? What's your wish list right now? What's your biggest wish list?
I wouldn't say not this year. Maybe start of next year is when I'll start adding any more stuff.
I mean, honestly, what we should end up doing, next Sunday we'll be back here, obviously. We should end up asking our fans what their, like, we ended up kind of going into this last time with, like, your most unique jersey, but, like, what is the top 5 jersey, like, make and model and, like, color scheme that you like for whatever team you root for? Because, I mean, there's so many different ones coming out with it.
How about we do What is your least favorite jersey?
That's a good one too.
What's your least favorite jersey? You don't have to own it, because obviously you wouldn't buy it if it's your least favorite. What is your least favorite jersey? That's the question this
I actually
week.
started a list. I have this on a spreadsheet on my computer. I actually have my top 16 NHL jerseys.
Okay.
And I got a list of my top teams. I got like three spreadsheets of a top list, and one of them is my favorite NHL jerseys.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Nick. When it comes to your jersey collections, do you have any like movie-related jerseys? Like The Longest Yard comes to mind right away. Like
No.
Good old Goldberg, Number X, the X Factor.
Mean Machine.
No, I do not.
No, not. Is it something down the line that you'd want, or do you just stay away from that?
I'm more into like just
The actual teams?
The actual teams, yeah.
You don't have a Wild Thing jersey?
Oh.
No, I don't have a Wild Wing.
A Wild Thing?
The
Good old Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh,
from
I
Major League?
actually, you know what? I actually had one.
Ah, see?
I had one, but I gave it to Ruff to hang up in his basement.
Ah.
Get in the man cave.
I do have a Roger Dorn one too.
Oh, God.
Man, you know what?
Get your
Honestly,
body in front of it, Dorn.
I might end up
None of
going
this
that route.
Olay bullshit.
I might end up going that route though. If I end up getting a jersey, you can't go wrong with Ricky Vaughn. Get the glasses on top of it though. Like that's what looks are made out of.
If I were, though, since you are a hockey fan, if I were to get a jersey from a movie, it would definitely be Doug the Thug Glatt from the Goon, the Halifax Highlanders, number 69 jersey.
Actually, could we get back
Do you
in
know
this?
that Glatt is Hebrew for F-U? Did
So-
you know that?
Some useless information right now, huh?
So, could we also talk about?
Where they named the Dolphin after him. For the Miami Dolphins, I actually have the Ace Ventura jersey.
Really?
Could we also talk about when we were pretty much rejuvenating this podcast, and you ended up coming along, and we were gonna go with like the anime bobblehead look, and you wanted that specific Goon jersey, number 69 on the back. If that would have happened, there's still time, but that just it's reminiscent of that right away, and I'm like, that could be very, very interesting if you end up having all of us in cartoon form too. We definitely have to work on more merch. Maybe we might end up coming out with some jerseys, you know?
Yeah, get some jerseys made up. That'd be nice.
Obviously, it's
Like
going to be
sports
money.
Jerseys.
It's going to be money, but we
yeah.
just got to save on up and sell that. But I guess before we end up going, what would be the question you asked, your least favorite jersey out there? Let's go around and say what your least favorite jersey is. Nick or Austin, you could start it off.
My least favorite jersey, I would have to say, was the black and teal Seattle Mariners jersey in the 90s when it was just a giant logo taking up half the body, and that's all it was. And it was the Mariners logo, but it was only half of it, and it went from literally shoulder to waist and just a big circle. Terrible color scheme also. Ken Griffey Jr. looked like a punk wearing that thing, and I didn't like that because Ken Griffey was my dude.
Oh, this is a tough one.
I'll go, and then Nick, you could finish it up, all right? I'm thinking right away the worst jersey out there was when the Cincinnati Reds had the sleeveless jerseys, and you had Yasiel Puig. Like, I was very torn on this because
I
you didn't look
loved
like
it.
a ball player, but at the same time, Yasiel Puig made you look like a little kid out there because his arms filled up that jersey.
I hate to say about it. I have one of those.
Do you really?
Yeah, home one.
That's awesome. Like, I don't get me wrong, I'd still wear it, but like that had to be like the weirdest thing that was out there because you did not expect it to actually be a jersey, and it's like, am I watching baseball or am I watching like dudes like cut off sleeves?
Well, that was the thing back in the late '90s or early 2000s is when they started doing the sleeveless jerseys.
And like you always ended up like throwing like a T-shirt underneath. Like that's usually like back in high school. It was always
either
the same thing.
Either a T-shirt or like a thermal like this.
Yeah, absolutely. But Nick, before we end up going, what is your least favorite jersey out there?
I hate to say it, but your damn Steelers Bumblebee jersey.
The Bumblebee jerseys.
The inmate
Jesus
jerseys.
Christ.
The inmates. I agree.
God.
I can't help but agree on that one.
And like I get it. I'm not even mad. I get it. So, next week, we'll be back here. Wednesday, We Like Sports Podcast once again. Location to be determined. It's probably going to be at Riggs' house once again. Stay tuned. That's 7:30 to 9:30. Sunday, first stop, 11 until 12:45.
And we're going to be here all afternoon watching the Browns game, baby. Come on up. Get that Broman Burger, $2 off. Free touchdown shots every time the Browns score a touchdown.
The wings are pretty good, too, if I must say so.
Woo-wee.
Nick, who do you have tonight?
Don't forget Monday night game next week, too.
Oh, yeah. Ravens-Browns, Monday night.
Wait, what?
Ravens-Browns,
No,
Monday night.
Monday night.
When did that happen?
It's been on the schedule.
It's been on the schedule.
Sick. I forgot about that.
Actually, 2 primetime games.
I can't wait for
we had
that
the Thursday
one.
night game early.
We'll have to
Early this
figure
year.
out the way we do the pregame, though, because if the Browns aren't playing Sunday, obviously maybe if it's a Monday night game and we have some free time.
Oh, I got darts. The Dart Break kids play on Monday nights. I'm sorry.
I forgot you're a big shot that
Yeah,
has his own
the Dart Break-
franchise dart team.
No, I'm just
Well,
the
it's
co-captain.
Bobby's franchise team. So.
I'm just the co-captain.
But, Nick, who do you have tonight? Titans, Browns, score prediction, then we'll end up heading out of here.
Oh, you know damn well. I'm rooting for the Browns.
How close of a game do you end up seeing this game being with Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt all facing off against each other?
I actually think it's going to be maybe a 30-23 game.
So he's saying a lot more. We were thinking low score and time possession game, but that could be another one, 30-23.
I mean, if Chubb and Hunt and Henry has a good game running,
Yeah, it
then
might-
it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Derrick Henry was a beast against the Colts last week, and that's my biggest worry if I'm the Browns, is if that momentum carries over against the Colts and carries over to the Browns. If Myles Garrett isn't stopping them, it's going to be a long day for the Browns. On that note, though, we'll catch you Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. We Like Sports Podcast. Make sure to come on out, watch the Browns, first stop in Parma. We'll see you next week. From there, it's going to be somewhere. Manscape that shit, though. I don't know why I said that.
I don't know. He doesn't make sense a lot.
We're good to go.
See ya. Go Browns.